The simulation, I believe, has been very successful, and we know that anecdotally from what students tell us, but even collectively, and when of course we do course evaluations. My courses have always had high ratings, and because the simulation is such a critical part and a central part of my courses, I have to say that I believe the simulation is what gives me those evaluations. Students who do well in the course also typically will carry on doing well in other courses. So it is truly a great foundation and a platform for students to learn and develop. I've used the simulation in two different contexts. One is as a capstone course on an undergraduate program. And there, you might imagine, people sort of seen a lot, done a lot by the time they got to that course. And often they would say that that was the course that kind of brought it all together and allowed them to really do something different in a meaningful way. And they often refer to how the challenges of the simulation prepared them for their first job. In the current environment, I'm using it as an orientation or a lead-off course to a program. And often people say at the end of the program, before they've even left us, how important it was for them to kind of be challenged, but also really dive into teamwork, really understand the components of a business. And so by the time they graduate, even inside the program, they're quite thankful that they've had the course, and they see the course as an opportunity to have learned and got really involved in business.
It's not just something that you learn in class and you have no application, it's really applied. So I'll be able to take those skills into the workforce.
For a lot of our students, business is new as a discipline, and we intend to use it so fundamentally throughout the course. We spend quite a bit of time getting them through the solo single-player version, and we give them support from peers, from other students who are older in the program who can come back and assist, and that's worked out very well. And so that by the time they actually jump into the deep end, they're ready to do that. And when they start playing the multiplayer version, then they're introduced to it. It's still challenging, mind you, but again, we put the time and energy to get them up to speed. We use a fairly structured approach to team building or team development. So we have students actually apply for their jobs. They submit a CV, which is our own customized CV, and it gives a basic idea of any work experience, prior degrees, and etc. But includes, importantly, their single-player share value. So we have an indicator of their ability in the simulation environment. And they apply for a certain job, a CEO, marketing manager, CFO, etc. And we drive the role identity and role performance pretty hard because we know that actually helps them succeed.
It's really good that I have that practical element and aspect where you can actually try your hardest to fit the role that you have, whether it be HR or CEO, whereas in my old school I didn't really have that opportunity. I just learned theory.
We're now doing another activity, which is the board meetings. We're about 7 weeks into a 10-week term, and you'll just be amazed at how these teams are actually functioning together by each individual having to contribute, and the overall ownership and identity of the team. The simulation really does get meaningful teamwork in a fairly short amount of time.
We saw Darl in a different manner as well, as an actual board director, and he was very different. It felt like he was the actual, one of the board of directors, and he was the chairman, and the way he treated us, it just felt so different. But it gave us a good experience of what happens in the real world.
They'll also do a team presentation, and this is one that we highlight and show off to the dean and to other audiences because you can see the students have grown quite a lot in a 10-week period. We've had a lot of people come back to us as alumni, graduates, who talk about how, for example, they've said when they've gone into that interview in a Big Four accounting firm and been asked about teamwork, they've not really worked in another organization, but they can say with pride and confidence they've actually worked in a team that had real work to do. And that's always heartening, because it does actually simulate a proper work team, professional work team. And I've had people at a personal level realize that the simulation gives them a chance to think about their own personal direction and who they are and who they want to be. And I've heard that back from people occasionally, and that's quite rewarding and very fulfilling as a professor.
I love the experience just because it's taught me more about myself.
It's come to the point where I really cannot imagine teaching my subject without the simulation. The Smart Sims MikesBikes simulation allows me to do things with my students that I could not accomplish in any other way. I've modified it and changed it over the years and worked closely with Smart Sims to do that, but it's just become a critical way that I can get excited about the courses, and the students respond to it so well every year that I wouldn't teach without it.